Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to do something a little different, a virtual study session. We're cracking open the brand new, and let's be honest, super important CompTIA SecAI Plus certification. If you're in cybersecurity, you know AI is changing absolutely everything, and this is the cert that proves you know how to lock it down. So grab a coffee and let's break down what it really takes to pass this thing.
So why did CompTIA roll this out? Well, it's because there's a massive need. We're not just dabbling in AI anymore, right? We're building entire parts of our businesses on it. And that means we need a whole new class of security pros who can spot, shut down, and manage the really unique risks that come with these AI systems.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? This isn't just about passing another test to hang a certificate on the wall. It's about leveling up your skills to fight the AI-specific threats that are not just coming, they're already here, and they're evolving like crazy. So if you're ready to be on those front lines, you are in the right place.
Okay, so first things first, let's get a really clear picture of what this certification is and maybe more importantly, what it isn't.
The first thing you've got to get straight is this distinction right here. A lot of us have our Security Plus, and it's fantastic. It's the bedrock of general IT security knowledge. But SecAI Plus is a whole different beast. It's an advanced cert. It basically assumes you already have that foundation and says, okay, now let's go deep into the very specialized, very complex world of locking down AI.
And that leads to a super important point. This exam is not for beginners. CompTIA recommends you have at least 3, maybe 4 years of IT experience under your belt, with a couple of those years in a hands-on cybersecurity role. It's really built for people who are already in the trenches and are now expanding their skill set into the AI domain.
All right, let's talk about the exam itself. The format is specifically designed to test your real-world decision-making. This isn't about just memorizing flashcards.
You're going to be facing up to 60 questions, and you've only got 60 minutes to do it. Think about that. With a mix of multiple choice and hands-on performance-based items, you've got about 1 minute per question. You have to think fast and apply what you know accurately, all while the clock is ticking.
So, the absolute best way to prep is to practice. Let's do a little workout and run through a scenario-based question, just like you'd see on the real exam. I want you to think this through right along with me.
Okay, here's our situation. This is a super common task, right? Your team grabs some open source model from a public repository to use in your own environment. Before you do anything else, what is your absolute first, non-negotiable security step?
And here are your choices. Now, a huge skill on this exam is being able to quickly spot the decoys. The answers that are perfectly good security controls, but they're just not the right answer for this specific scenario. Let's start knocking some out.
Let's start with A, data anonymization. Is this a good security practice? Oh yeah, 100%. It's absolutely critical for protecting privacy and the data you use to train a model. But does it do anything to harden the actual file you just downloaded? Nope, it's the wrong tool for this part of the job. So, A is out.
What about C and D? A prompt firewall and API rate limiting are your bread and butter defenses, but they protect a model that's already deployed and running in production. They stop things like prompt injection or denial of service attacks. We haven't even gotten the model deployed yet, so these are incorrect because they apply way later in the lifecycle.
And that leaves us with B, verify the cryptographic hash. Bingo, that is our answer. Before you do anything else, you have to confirm the integrity of that file. You have to know for sure that it's the authentic model from the publisher and that it hasn't been tampered with. It's the foundational first step.
Awesome, you're getting the hang of this. Let's try one more. This time, we're going to focus on identifying specific AI attack types, which is a huge part of the exam objectives. You got to know your enemy, right? Okay, read this one carefully. What are the key details? The attacker is messing with resource usage, performance is going down, operational costs are going up, and the end goal is a denial of service. The point isn't to steal data or to trick the model, it's just to exhaust it.
So here are our potential culprits. Again, let's put on our detective hats and use the process of elimination. Which of these just doesn't fit the description?
Let's look at model inversion and membership inference. Both of these are privacy attacks. They're all about trying to reverse engineer the model to learn about the sensitive data it was trained on. Our scenario isn't about data theft. It's about resource exhaustion. So A and B are out.
Well, what about data poisoning? That's a nasty one.
It's where an attacker intentionally feeds bad data into the training set to sabotage the model's future behavior. But again, the goal there is to corrupt its logic, not to crash it by draining its resources. So D is also incorrect.
And this leaves us with C, the sponge attack, which is our answer. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's designed to soak up computational resources, drive up those costs, and eventually lead to a denial of service. It perfectly matches every single detail in our scenario.
See, that's the kind of critical thinking this exam demands. It's not about definitions, it's about application. So to wrap this up, let's talk about how you can build the right mindset to go in there and succeed.
Here's your 3-step blueprint. First, master the frameworks. I'm talking about things like the OWASP Top 10 for LLMs and MITRE Atlas. They are your maps to the threat landscape. Second, think in scenarios. All the time, just like we did. Don't just learn a term, ask yourself how it applies. And third, please stick to the official study materials. Using brain dumps isn't just unethical. CompTIA can and will revoke your certification for it. It is so not worth the risk.
I really want to leave you with this piece of advice, because this is the single best way to prepare. Don't just study theory. Think like an engineer. For everything you learn, ask yourself, okay, how would I actually implement this in a real environment? And how would I measure it to prove it's working? That's how you get ready for those performance-based questions and, for the real job.
And finally, here's a question just to get you thinking. We are at the very beginning of this journey. The threats we're studying today are just the start. What comes next? Thinking about that question is how we all stay ahead of the curve. Good luck with your studies, and thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.